Page 11, my gal is a highborn lady, whatever that means. 4/4 time, we're in the key of C major, no sharps or flats. Let's take it one hand at a time, make sure we get the notes and the rhythms and all that worked out. So the right hand at the beginning, you have the C chord, a G, a C, and an E. 1 and 2 and 3, and just lift up and come down. So that second measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and. So the dotted rhythm, the short note comes first. You can tell how it lines up with the quarter notes in the left hand. Lift up and come up again. Again. Lift up, 1 and 4. Now they're saying 1 and 3, that way you're here, but you can use fourth finger because you can cross over if you want. So that second line again is just fourth finger, because I can reach up. And again, that F sharp is good for the rest of the measure, so. Third finger. So I'm trying to feel this melody as best I can, and it's the top note in the right hand. So if I can play it legato, I will. And then the third line is the same as the first. Let's go down to the last line. You're here, 1. I'm just showing. See, I don't understand this. In the last line, the first two measures, the fingering is here and 4. But in the second line, it's almost the same. It's just different rhythm. And they want 3. That may be an error. So go ahead and in the second line, second measure, use 1/4 there, not 1/3. It's like they're showing in the last line, second measure. And then you have to come down here, just lift up and move. And they're saying 1/5 again, but you can do 1/4. Just reach here if you can reach it. Now if that's too much, you can't do that, then you'll have to use 5. I'll leave that up to you. Left hand, well, you got this broken chord. It's now a birdie bass, but you're starting on the middle note. 3. For the whole first line. Then the second line, you just cross over 3. Then an E. Then a D. And they're saying, what, 1 and 3 or 1 and 2? I can't read it, the print's too small. But I suggest a 2 and 3 if you can. Then you can do a 3 and 5. So I've just got all of this in one hand position. That's a chord. That's the way we'd finger it, so why not do that? So the last two measures of the second line is here, and then here, and then back to what you were doing at the beginning. Last line, you're here. And this is fun. Put the hands together. Now the second line, it gets a little tricky here. You're here. Right there. This bottom note in the left hand, don't hold that down for a... Hold these half notes down in the left hand. Now when you go from the second line to the third line, you're here. To go to your right hands are in place. The left hand needs to come down. If you want, you can play that first note in the third line with little finger because you're closest to it, and then thumb. It's just a way of helping you move your hands around. So starting with the last measure of the second line, you're here. So forth. Once you have a handle on that, there's no real articulation to speak of. They have a few slurs. You can put in the slurs, I guess. And the dynamics, that's the melody. So if you can, play the melody louder than the other stuff. And the melody is the top note in the right hand. And this takes time to gain that kind of control. So be patient with yourself, but keep trying. It will come if you'll keep at it. So this is all really soft, and these notes are soft if I can. I'm just putting more weight on that top note. Etc. It says loud throughout. Well, that's a suggestion. It's I guess a happy song. I'm not sure. I have questions on this song, but it's on the loud side. You don't have to stay loud. You can get a little louder and softer as you get to know it and get to feeling it. And then we think about the speed. Con brio is not a speed. It's with brilliance. Well, it's a happy song, so be there. I tend to come down a little bit at the end of the second line. J crescendo, and then back up and start third line. That's my impression of the speed. You'll have to decide on your own. It needs to be accurate first. And then we can add the pedal. This is not really a piano piece. This is more of a solo, maybe with a guitar accompaniment or something. I'm not sure. It's not really good piano music as far as I'm concerned. So we use the pedal to help us with the overtones and to connect some of this stuff. And since it's not a real piano piece, I really am not too concerned about how the pedal is used, except I'd like you to be critical on what you're hearing. So you'll learn it without pedal first, so make sure the fingers are doing everything they can do. And then when you add the pedal, you can tell exactly the effect the pedal is having. Well, they're showing overlapping pedal throughout. Well, if I do that, this is what it sounds like. If you don't listen too closely, that's okay, I suppose. If you're actually listening to it, we got problems, because it messes up the style. This piece can bounce along a little bit. So how can we use the pedal to help us bounce along a little bit? Well, maybe I just pedal the first and third beat of the measure only. So it's I'm just reinforcing the natural accents, and in 4/4 time, it's the first and third beats. So it's here. I got some staccatos going. I could kind of bounce it along. That's an idea. Another one would be following the melody. Maybe not pedal some of those measures where it's moving around so you don't blur them up. This way there's contrast. It's like in the first measure it's pedaled. In the second measure it's an answer to that. It's not pedal, it's a contrast. You have to experiment with the pedal and listen carefully to the effect it's having to the sound and decide on that. I'd like to play this with you very slowly. I'm not going to do any dynamics. There aren't any to speak of. But I just want to check the rhythms and the notes. I'm going to try pedaling it on the first and third beat only, what I was suggesting. And you can pedal it as you see fit. So I'll give us 4 counts. Let's just play it together slowly. 1, 2, ready, go.